I want to talk about the college football playoffs. I know yesterday I said I was going to talk about more bowl games. But let's be honest, who really cares anyway? Let's talk about the college football playoffs instead. I think it's more entertaining. I think I'm going to be pretty accurate, but that's just my opinion. Okay, first game I'm going to talk about is Alabama Notre Dame. Now, we all saw Notre Dame get killed, but remember, at the beginning of the game, Kirk Herbstreit said himself that Notre Dame was having an offensive line that wasn't healthy. So I'm not saying they would have beat Clemson with all their players, but it would have been a little bit closer. Now remember, Clemson's got a great defense. Do I think it's the best? Nah, Georgia's a little bit better. But Clemson still has a good defense. They got great athletes. They got guys that can cover. They got guys that can hit hard. They're fast. They will go in the backfield and make plays. They're a sacking machine. Obviously, with 44, I'll say it again, 44 sacks this year. That's impressive. Wow. So I can imagine why anybody would struggle with Clemson. I'll talk about Clemson in just a second. You got Alabama, very high octane offense. Defense, that defense doesn't impress me too much. Their defense was supposed to be the best in the SEC or close to the best. But nobody thinks about it. They played Auburn, LSU, Arkansas, Georgia without a good quarterback. Um, these teams that didn't have good offenses or didn't have it put together, you know. So, yeah, of course you're gonna look good, but when they play good offenses like Ole Miss, Florida, that shows there's a lot of weaknesses there. And their defense gets too many penalties. If you look back at the SEC championship game with Florida, Florida should have been stopped at least 3 or 4 more times what they were. But penalties that Alabama made, like pass interference, hands to the face, holding on defense, offsides, those penalties kept Florida in the game more than it should have been. Excuse me. So I think Bama's going to beat Notre Dame, but I think Notre Dame's going to keep it close just because Notre Dame has a pretty good pass rush. They're probably going to have their whole offensive line back, and they'll make it challenging for Alabama. I don't think Notre Dame's going to get blown out. Now, if Bama's defense was good also, that's a different story. But again, Notre Dame can put up points on people. They didn't do it with Clemson, but again, Clemson's defense is phenomenal. So I got Bama winning about 45-30. Bama might put up a little bit more and pull away, but it's going to be a pretty good football game. Speaking of pretty good football games, I think Clemson and Ohio State might be another classic, or maybe it won't be. It depends. I'm not impressed with Ohio State this year. The only reason I say they should have made it because of the fact they didn't lose any games. And they only played 6 games, but you got to remember, it's not their fault. They would have played Michigan, would have beat them, and they probably would have played other schools and beat the crap out of them too. So they probably would have had 7 or 8 wins. That's not their fault. People talk about A&M, and look, guys. A&M beat Florida. Okay, LSU did too. Bama did also. What you did was not special, okay? You had a chance to beat another great team. You couldn't do it. And I'm sure that A&M would not beat many top 10 teams, top 5 teams for that matter. No. And you're going to see why when North Carolina beats their butts. Now, there's 2 ways this game can go down with Ohio State. Ohio State wins a close game, gets payback for last year if they play a perfect game. If Justin Fields doesn't throw picks, if he secures the football, if Ohio State's defense shows up to play. But I don't think it's as good as it was last year. I think Clemson will show up to play. They'll be bothered by last year because they had help to win that game. Let's be honest with the referees. Either Clemson in a blowout or Ohio State in a nail biter. So I'm going to go with the blowout just because Clemson seems like the most complete team in this year's college football playoff. I got Clemson winning 41-24. I think they'll pull away in this game. I think Ohio State may get a garbage time touchdown. So that's just my opinion. And if Ohio State were to win this game, because they got a chance to win, remember, they got a good coach, great athletes, a good quarterback, a good defense. I think it's good enough to pull off an upset if they get stops, force turnovers. As you can see, Trevor Lawrence is prone to turning the ball over at times. If Ohio State did win, 31-28, something like that. I'll talk about the national championship once the playoffs, once these semifinal games are over with. Then I'll talk about who I think wins. I've already got a pick. Y'all think I said it a week ago, but I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt because upsets can happen. Sometimes who I think is the better team may not be the better team. So we'll see what happens, all right? Like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.